Alright, I'm going to go ahead and show the full build video on this thing, primarily because they did not include building instructions in the box. Normally I just kind of clip through sections of it. So I'm going to point out a couple of key things to keep in mind. This section here is for holding wine glasses, which will indicate that it will be on the bottom facing this way, so that way you can put your glasses in here. Secondly, if you look on the edges, you'll see these little nubs. Those are actually the bolt that puts everything together. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the first two. There's number one. And let me go ahead and get an Allen key to work on number two. That one's a little snug. Alright. Now, I know this will be the bottom, and based on cosmetics, this will be the top. Looking at the other pieces, these are obviously going to be my sides. So these at first look like they're going to be just mirrors of each other, but we have an extra hole right here. This hole is going to have to go forward, and it's going to have to be at the bottom, because we're going to be putting a rod in there later to help hold wine bottles in. Now, it does look like you have the choice to either have the smooth side on the outside or the slightly beveled side on the outside. For texture, I'm going to put the beveled side on the outside. So I'm going to need to make sure that I've got this hole in the bottom and smooth side here. Pulling this up, keeping the prongs down, and we're going to take those same bolts that we just pulled out and put them in here. Just going to get them hand tight, and I'll key them in once we're done to tighten everything up. And there we go, that one's biting as well. I'm going to rotate this whole thing up here. So now you're looking at this again, still the bottom, but I've got it facing away to show something. If you look back here, we have our hooks for mounting against the wall. The broad section goes down so that it will settle into this crease. And this is important because that tells me how this top piece will have to be orientated, which means broad section on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and take these screws out. So we've got the metal brackets here. And I went ahead and moved to the floor to give myself a little bit more room to work with. Now I'm just going to redo what I undid. Again, I want this smooth section on the inside. I want to have that beveled section on the outside. And I need this circle on the bottom. So the way to mount that would be right like this. Now, you have two different size bolts here, which I didn't notice when I was doing the other side because I took them out one at a time. This smaller bolt goes to this crossbar. So if you do what I did and took them all out simultaneously, keep that in mind. Since that's the only oddball out, I'm going to start with this guy. And then just need to go through and work on all the others. And just going to get these all hand tight. now the other side. And I'm not really cinching this down to, you know, muscle it in. It shouldn't be moving a whole lot, so not too terribly worried about it being super secure. All right, and let's go ahead and set this up so you can see it. I'll be hanging this up in a minute. There we go. There's the finished shelf. Now remember these little bad boys? See there's two magnets here? If you remember, there is a plate that runs right across the top right here. I'm willing to bet these will snap right there. And they do. Alright. I'm going to read the instructions on these guys and figure out how to get them powered up and have my wife pick out a place to hang this. Alright, did some reading up on these individual lights here. So these are IP68 water resistant, which means that they can be submerged, tested for up to half an hour in 1.5 meters. So that's pretty good distance there. And they probably will survive more than that, but that's all it's technically rated for. And it has done that by this little rubber grommet right here. I don't know if it's rubber or silicone. So whenever you open this up to replace the batteries, it takes 3 AAAs, make sure that this inner ring isn't bent or twisted at all, otherwise it will ruin the waterproof rating. Let's go ahead and grab a few batteries here. Get this set up. Go ahead and close this up. Careful not to pinch that seal. And get that nice and snug. Alright, so we are now closed up. Wireless remote is included right here. Go ahead and take the battery cover out. And we have simply off, on, and we can change the flash rate. And we can change the color. So you have the options of cycling through with flash. You've got the strobe effect. You can fade from one color to the next. Let's try fade. And slowly shift from one color to the next. And as previously stated, the straight up presets here. And, oh, even white. And these are designed to work in unison. I'm going to guess off the same remote as well. Let's go ahead and power this one up. And it's going to start off the same strobe pattern, but they work together. And there's that. Now to get this bad boy a home. And my new wine shelf, which doesn't have the whole just wine, has been installed. Let's go ahead and get the lights out here. Get a better look at that. And I'm partial to green. Enjoy.